thank you to everyone that has joined my channel. I've mentioned it in the past in previous videos that I'm not sure how I feel about my channel increasing when it concerns subscribers. The reason being is that I feel like YouTubers have such great responsibility and influence in this world, and I think for me, I feel like my mission and my desires to see the brown and black community unite more strongly, come together much more strongly. I find that we need to join hand in hand to tackle and dismantle colonization, and to also be, address colonization within our very own communities, because I find that there's a lot of internalized self-hate, just a lot of isms, right? Whether that be misogynism and sexism and racism and prejudicism and colorism, and it's so problematic. It's killing our communities in a very great way, where it's not allowing us to progress, to move forward, understanding the implications of colonization historically, and how that impacts our future and present, right? And I also just want people as a whole to realize how important it is for us to be informed on the issues that affect and will impact not only Black and brown communities, but how does this also impact those that are not part of the Black and brown community, right? That are or have some form of privilege in this world, that have benefited from colonization. Although when all is said and done, I'm not here to educate the white community. I do agree, and I've mentioned this in previous videos. Like one time I was telling one of my specialists that was in the healthcare sector, a fellow immigrant brown woman, and I told her about this situation that had occurred, and how it just frustrates me and annoys me that about that. And she just said, well, you can't possibly educate or feel like you're responsible for educating everyone, or the people that are, when all is said and done, are privileged or have some form of privilege. And that is very true. She said, you're going to exhaust yourself. So that is why, for me, my emphasis and focus and my true goal and desires for us as Black and brown communities to come together, to be united, to empower one another, to support one another. And I also want to say this much, because I know that sometimes my delivery might be maybe harsh, maybe a little intense, and might ruffle quite a few feathers, that and once again, like, it's the truth hurts. And I find that often people, and this occurs across the board, it's just like when people haven't had to deal with certain issues, or haven't had to confront certain circumstances, it will be difficult for them to sympathize, because it's not their experience. It's not an experience that they've ever lived through. Therefore, they can't understand. Therefore, it's hard to come into realizing that it is a reality, because for some of them, they can deny and want to deny just because it ultimately benefits them. So, but, when, it's not any of our mission to ultimately have people understand, but it's for us to find ways to navigate this world successfully as POCs, and to ensure that we are mentally, emotionally, and physically sound, because it can have a toll. Like these things, and even to just be completely transparent, I find that a lot of the inequality that exists, a lot of my experiences that I've undergone throughout my life has caused me to be a lot more paranoid and hyper aware of what is around me and who is around me, and be extra cautious. That's something more than likely a white person does not have to undergo. And I just want you to understand, as a fellow brother and sister, because I like to say that we are all family when it concerns our communities of color. We have similar experiences, maybe not the same exact, but we share likeliness, right? And it's it's something that you don't have to feel like you're the only one that has gone through it. Like I've experienced it. I've had conversations with friends, and they've undergone similar experiences, and just observing as well my day-to-day when navigating this world and having individuals of different racial backgrounds, navigating those same environments around me, seeing the differences. It's been eye-opening, and it's been saddening, because a lot of times it's not and naturally this is, once again, this is due to colonization, but colonization has impacted not only those that benefit from colonization, but our community that so many, have denied their own roots, their identity, trying to conform to the West, trying to appeal to the West. And it's heartbreaking, and it's saddening, just because you're navigating a world that is already in many ways in opposition with you and who you are and who you care to be, because you want to be yourself. You want to be the truest version of yourself. And not only are white people not wanting to often see that a brown or black person is proud to be black and brown, right? But it's often even our own communities making comparisons, right? Based off color, based off features, based off things that are so insignificant. Really, is that what we're going to care about? Is that what we're going to focus on? And that is the heart of humanity. The heart of humanity is centered on superficial things that don't matter, because when all is said and done, that's never led to anything substantial, anything great. Being superficial hasn't caused someone to feel loved, to feel accepted, to feel like they belong, or provided the fulfillment that is necessary. None of this, and that's why for me it's like we need to stop, even as communities of color, stop pandering to colonization, which I feel colonization, what it only provides is power, acceptance, popularity, Why are we seeking these things that are all of this, all like this earth? Are we taking anything with us? One day we pass, we're not taking any of this with us. Why do we need to be popular, accepted, wealthy, right, in the eyes of humanity? Why can't we embrace who we are and be who we are? And what I hope that we can be as people is do good, and that doesn't only like concern humanity, concerns all of existence, right? There's animals, there's nature, there's people, there's so much that requires our attention. And I'm an advocate of knowledge. Knowledge equals power. And naturally, knowledge, or obtaining knowledge, or higher education, especially in this country, I'm not going to speak for any other country in this case, as an American, is expensive. But and maybe I'll tackle this at some point or another. It's also a business. But there is ways to, be informed and knowledgeable and well-rounded and a wonderful individual. And I guess never sell yourself short is what I'm saying to my fellow brothers and sisters. Never sell yourself short, and focus on what's important. Analyze your own biases that often can be rooted in colonization. Question everything. Think. There's so much power when you can think for yourself, and you can make conclusions on your own, and you can tell things apart when all is said and done. So yeah, life is much more than what this world, the West sells you, all these materialistic things, and naturally that have to do with, as they like to say, capitalism. But it's just like, this applies to all of the world. The world seeks things that are, none of this will last, right? You will pass, and you can't take any of that with you, but you can take goodness with you. So, or a legacy, and you can leave a legacy. So that's what I want to say to my fellow brothers and sisters. Take care.